Okay, let's look at void elements and some examples of that, particularly breaks. So after this presentation, which is a very quick presentation, you'll appreciate what a void element is, and also you'll be able to differentiate between 3 different types of break and also use them. So elements we're going to look at, 3 different types of break, come back to that in a minute. First, make sure we're clear about void elements and what they are. So all of the elements, the HTML elements we've seen so far, they all had this structure here, basically start tag and some kind of content and then some kind of end tag which matches the start tag. Okay, so we've seen that many times, lots of videos. Now what about void elements? Void elements do not have this middle part. Now because they don't have this middle part, that means they don't need an end tag. Right? So that's gone for these void elements. Also, it doesn't really make sense to call the first tag a start tag because it's not really starting because there's no end. So you would just call it a tag. Okay? So basically void elements, they just have a tag and that's it. All right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. They must not have an end tag according to the latest HTML specification. All right, so you only have one thing. An example we've already seen, this one, we put this in our header part a few videos ago. And we said, okay, give this information to the browser, the name of the person who made the browser web page, and so on and so on. We've seen that before. That is a void element. That's the entire element. There is no slash meta later on. No, we don't use any slash meta. That's the whole thing. It is a void element. All right. Can void elements have attributes? Of course they can, right? There's an attribute there, there's an attribute there. No problem with that. It's simply they do not have a closing tag. All right, so what other examples have we seen? We've seen image. We discussed that before. That's a void element. And a bit later, we're going to look at input when we talk about handling forms. It's a void element. And right now, just to kind of strengthen our understanding a little bit, we're going to look at 3 types of break, which are all void elements. All right, so let's have a look. We've got 4 paragraphs. Right, in this example, 4 paragraphs. They're all exactly the same text, exactly the same. This first paragraph has no special tag at all. Second paragraph has a break tag, BR. Third paragraph has a WBR tag. Fourth paragraph has an HR tag, right? Element, I should use the word element. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3 types of element being used. So what does it look like? Let me show you by opening it. Okay, so this is the example. We've got 1, 2, 3 paragraphs we're going to look at the start. First paragraph, nothing special. Second paragraph has a BR, a break. The break is here, right here at the end of the first sentence. We told the browser using BR, we said, okay, go to the next line and then carry on. Okay, so that's BR, and you can see, yes, nothing has occurred after the BR tag, which was here. Third paragraph is using WBR. So what happens with WBR? WBR is a kind of optional break. So if we look at our first paragraph, we have this huge long word, and there wasn't enough space to show the huge word. So the browser put the huge word on the next line. It's the best thing it can do. Now what about here? That was just BR, so it does the same thing. That's me forcing a break, nothing special. But here we have something special, WBR tag. So I put a WBR tag right here in the middle of that word. It's a big long word, and I put WBR here. So the browser said, okay, I don't have enough space for the entire word, so there's WBR. Okay, no problem. I'm going to show the rest of the word on the next line because I put the WBR tag in. Without the WBR tag, it would do this, right? It would just put the entire word on the next line, and it leaves a big gap here, probably not what you like. Okay, so that's the idea of WBR, and BR is just simple, just forcing the break. Okay, now to illustrate this word, this example a bit more, I'm going to make the web page a bit wider, and you'll see that the entire word will be shown once again. So let's do that. Let's come over here, make the web page wider like this, and it's put the entire word once again back on the same line because it doesn't need to break it, right? WBR is right in the middle, only gets used when it needs to use it. All right, so there's BR, there's WBR, we've discussed that, and then the final type of break is HR. So HR, it used to mean a horizontal rule. So here's my paragraph. Right in the middle of the paragraph, I've said HR. Use the HR element. And so it put a horizontal rule, a kind of line right across the page. Now these days in HTML5, they don't call it horizontal rule, they call it thematic break, which means that you have something and then you're going to discuss a new type of thing. So you put a big line there using HR and then you carry on with a new theme. Okay, doesn't really matter what it's called, it just makes a line like that right there in the middle. Okay, so that's our brief exploration of void elements and 3 of them.